أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا هب لنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, we are starting today a new subject, the 12th word. So, the 12th word has many aspects actually. And it studies many things at the same time, although it looks like a story. Can I have that piece? Messing up there. Alhamdulillah.
Somebody surprised
Hmm. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry, I didn't see it. It was called that.
Just one, so Alhamdulillah, it's not tea. Thank you. Now, the title of the subject here, it says wisdom. What is wisdom? Yes, it is related to this. We confuse wisdom with many other things. We think knowledge is wisdom, information is wisdom. Maybe some ethical subjects related to ethics is wisdom, and humanitarian analysis or humanitarian approach or humanitarian understanding of anything is wisdom, anything human. Let's see what the Quran says and the interpretation on the verse which mentions about wisdom. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wait. The verse, chapter 2, verse 269, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن يؤت الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا. And he who has been given wisdom has been given great good. What? So the Quran speaks in a very ambiguous way. We need to understand the word wisdom here. It is a great good. So it is easy to say, if you have wisdom, it is great for you. It's good for you. Yes, but what wisdom is? Now, what's wisdom? Rationality, insight, having insight. What is it? Now, the author is going to make a lot of comment on it, something like 6 pages. I will read from the beginning. This word, that means really commentary on the verse, consists of a brief comparison between the sacred wisdom of all the wise Quran. It means it doesn't really distinguish the wisdom that belongs to religion or the sacred book and wisdom belongs to somebody else. No, we have to understand that, for example, when the word is used in the Quran, any word used in the Quran, this word must be understood within the context of the Quran, within the purpose of the Quran. We may look for a help from the dictionaries or other sources, what it means. We may have a dictionary and say, dictionary gives us what wisdom is. The meaning of wisdom. Of course, we have to always reconsider. Okay, I don't know if anybody can really check what wisdom is in the dictionary definition, or using any online dictionary.
The quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise.
Yeah, the quality of being wise. That's that. Now, again, the question is, what is being wise? Quality of being, what was
having experience, knowledge, and good judgment.
So, experience of what? Knowledge of what? Good judgment. What is the criteria for good judgment? These are all questions. It means this dictionary helped us nothing, because it is explaining a word with another 10 words that we don't know. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that we cannot get any help from it. Yes, we can look at it, but the main problem that we are usually having in understanding the Quran, a word in the Quran in no way be understood outside of the purpose of the Quran, outside of the definition of the Quran. No way. We have to make sure. So wisdom, being wise, knowledge, experience, okay. We have to take these words and put them into the context of the Quran and see what is knowledge according to the purpose of the Quran. What is being wise according to the purpose of the Quran? it doesn't mean that we have to take the Quran for granted as the only criterion. No, you may not. It depends on your conclusion. Be free, but never read the Quran. Never read the Quran outside of the scope of its purpose. Its definition. What we do, we usually read the Quran outside of its scope of purpose. What is the main purpose of the Quran? Who will say something? What is the main purpose of the Quran? Why do we think that God speaks to us? What we need from God?
Guidance
Guidance for what? Yeah.
for how to live, or how to get to know Him.
Now is this mixed guidance of guidance for how to live is different from get to know Him.
Well, that would be part of how to live. Part of how to live would include having that as a purpose, getting to know Him in our lives.
First of all, do we really feel that? Do we really feel that we need to get to know Him?
Yes.
How? Yeah. I'm not saying no. I'm saying how. How do we feel that?
Maybe because we need to know, we have this need to know where we come from, what is our nature, why we have all these questions about our existence and the existence of everything else. So then we come to the conclusion of the existence of them, I believe.
Very good. Really, we have questions, and these questions don't have answers in the universe. For example, the universe is wonderful. Okay, we usually say this, and everybody agrees on it. But we don't know why does it exist, and we don't know why do we exist. So how come that we exist? There are lots of questions. We know that it's wonderful, but why is it wonderful? How come that it is wonderful? We don't know. So at the same time, we have the ability to ask the question or express our concerns. So, why things are here? We don't know. When it comes, these are unknown, and we don't know. For example, look at the sky is wonderful, but awesome, okay, but why is it awful? Awesome. How come that it is awful? Awesome. I don't know. When it comes to how to live, I'm making it simple. It is the result of my understanding of existence that I will live. It's not a start. If I don't base my way of life, my style of life on the conclusion about my own existence, then I don't need guidance from somebody else, because I have already been given a lot of senses which will tell me what is good, what is bad. It is already given, regardless of your belief in God or not, because whether you believe in God or not, the people say, I have my feelings. I know how to do it. I know what is bad, what is good. Then I can decide. I don't need God's guidance. If how to live, the question how to live in this world, does not come from the explanation of the reason of my existence, then I don't need God's speech. I don't need the Quran. But because God's speech means there's no answers to my existential questions, and I need answers to existential questions because I'm created with this ability to ask the question. Then I cannot get any answer in the universe to my existential questions. Quran answers existential questions. God speaks to us as an answer, as an establishment of the answers, satisfactory answers to my existential questions. The significance of this definition lies here. You have to read the Quran as an answer to your existential questions, not your wonder how to live this world. How to live this world comes as a corollary of your answer to your existential questions. What is mostly missing in my typical Egyptian religious education, without establishing the existential questions and reading the Quran as an answer to existential questions, they start telling you what to do at a personal level and what to do at a social level or societal level. And read the Quran accordingly. It is not the Quran. If we don't understand this, we don't read the Quran. We read a book written by a sage. And we read the Quran as a static, historical, but magnificent text. But historical text, we cannot update it. Because existential questions does not accept any time and space restrictions. As long as human beings exist, as long as human consciousness works, it is there. It is as fresh as ever that human beings existed on Earth, or conscious beings existed on Earth. So the question of Adam, the question of Muhammad in the cave, and my question now, here, is the same. Why do we exist? What is the meaning of existence? The problem that usually the Quran scholarship or the scholars dealing with the Quran is this. They may not all of them, but usually classical training, education. So you may distribute them. I think this is meant to be for you. Oh, this is yours? Okay. Because of taking the belief, being a Muslim, for granted, start reading the Quran as addressing to the Muslims how to live, how to organize their life. The problem lies there, taking the belief for granted. But at every level, we should reinforce the belief, or we should re-establish the belief system first, and then, if you like, take the ethical guidance from the Quran. Without belief, your religious rituals doesn't mean anything. Everybody knows this. But The problem is separating belief from ritual, religious rituals. First, you are a believer. You believe in God and in Islam and in the Quran as the word of God. Now it's finished. Okay. Now you come to how to live, what to do. Now, since you believe in the Quran says pray, then you have to pray. This approach is very problematic. To me, dangerous. It's dangerous, although we Muslims have to do this, and we believe in the Quran says this. It's a very common language, none of my business, whether 100% of the people use this. This doesn't make sense, it is not true. Be careful. What is the alternative? You have to combine the belief and how to live together. It means your how to live question must be based on your belief. It means, for example, because I believe in the Quran as the word of God, and then God says to pray, so I have to pray. It's separation. No, the Quran says why you are here on earth, why you exist in this world, because of this reason you have to pray. It means your prayer must be established on this belief. Not because you believed in the Quran and the Quran says you have to pray, but then you leave belief there and pray separately. So if someone says, because we Muslims, we have to pray, it's a typical example. Of course, there are many things. We Muslims that we should support justice. We Muslims that we should take care of needy ones, etc. That reason is, that way of approach, that way of reasoning is wrong. Do you see the fine difference? The fundamental difference. Why do we have to support justice? Because we believe in God, and it is the necessary conclusion of believing God that I have to be pro-justice, or I have to act justly. Not, do you understand the difference? So, why do you fast? Well, I'm a Muslim. In my sacred book, it orders me to fast. That's why I'm fasting. That's the usual presentation. Because I understand my existence in this world in a way that I have to be I have to be always consciously in contact with my creator. I have to be. So this is a way of keeping my awareness with my creator. That's why I am fasting. I'm practicing my belief, it means. Not separating it. Because I believe, that's why I am fasting. No. My belief necessitates that I fast. So this affects our reading of the Quran. So when I read the Quran, if I say, for example, Quran says, don't steal. Yeah. I say, no, the Quran says, don't steal. This is not the way. This is not the way of understanding the Quran. I have to understand that stealing goes against the worldview that I learned from the Quran. It contradicts what the revolution the Quran brought into the society or to human beings. of course, there were other scriptures, but the Quran came and renewed them. What was it? It's interesting that Nursi says, what? Nursi, the book we are reading, the author of the book we are reading, what the people used to think of the universe. The mountains are just rocks. Yeah. The sea is just water. Then atmosphere. They mean nothing. They are there. There's nothing significant about them. That's how they are. With the revelation of the Quran, they became consciously speaking elements. They became alive. Everything became meaningful. They all started making sense to them. They are not, the mountains are not dead beings. They speak to us. They convey message to us. They call us to be aware of something. Then the whole universe changed its meaning in the eyes of the people with the revelation of the Quran. If we say how to live, okay, people say we are helping others. We were not stealing. There are many people who say, but they are honest people within themselves. Although they close their door to asking questions concerning their existence. They think there is no answer there. Don't forget about it. I listen to my own conscience. My own conscience says don't steal. So I don't need any other religious source which will tell me that I shouldn't steal. I already know. I shouldn't harm other people. I already know. First.
Oh, so I was thinking, so unique to the Quran, this revolutionary aspect, that all the elements in the universe are now conscious, they are speaking, they have a meaning, or the previous scriptures also.
Yeah. Previous scriptures too. So Quran made it, if you like, according to the level of the people, of the age. But the same thing. Because human questions are the same. As far as we are conscious, the human consciousness is not really developing and changing, but our information changes, our concern, according to our concerns change, our questions enlarge, but fundamentally we have the same question. Why do I exist? Because my consciousness asks this question. Why do I exist?
So if you have an example of someone who lives very well, their actions are very good, they see, like you said, they see no purpose in bringing religion into it because of, for one reason or another. What's the, it's very practical and maybe off topic, but what's the short reason to give why it is important for them to bring the existential questions into the equation? Is it because, yeah, you may live well and you may not give to charity, but what does that tell you about your existence? What's the answer to it? Why they need religion or why they need to?
It's pointless. It becomes pointless to be a good person. Becomes pointless. If I don't know why I exist, I am a good person or I am a bad person, everybody dies after certain years. It becomes pointless, and it is not within the purpose of the human existence if we really think about it. For example, according to the instincts, all animals live according to their instinct. No? Human beings are not equal to animals because we are given extra qualities to ask. If I am doing something, I ask, why do I do it? And also, I take notes of the past, I think of the future, and I see my life in this earth ending, definitely ending. And my human expectations question this. And I am, as a human being, asking all these questions. It doesn't make sense. If I live in this world in expectation that I will die one day, it contradicts my human qualities. If someone takes his or her, if someone doesn't take his or her human qualities into the equation, whatever this man does in the name of religion or in the name of humanity or in the name of egoistic basis or egoistic concerns, these actions don't make sense for a human being. We have to establish everything on our existential purpose, then purpose in our existence. We have to go back always to the foundation, even when we do something right, when we do something wrong. Before asking whether it's right or wrong, I have to go back to the very, very foundational question: why I am here.
So you said that when scripture was revealed, clouds and all like elements, objects we see in the universe, they became conscious beings. So basically, in and of itself, the object is just a cloud, it's just water. But I guess when I'm conscious, I'm aware, then it becomes meaningful to me. So, like for me, conscious beings are beings that utilize free will, or I mean, that's what distinguishes us between, like an animal or like other objects. So.
Quran, if you like, stimulates human consciousness. Do you think that they are dead beings? Yeah? Think about them. Don't you see any meaning in it? That's what we are going to do.
So then everything is a conscious being, like,
The existence of everything has meanings, right?
But they're in and of itself, they're just like.
You communicate with them. You communicate with them. You can ask questions, you can get answers from them. Why do you think human beings keep studying the universe?
New discoveries. We've always learned something new. It's ever changing.
So what are you going to do with it when you discover something?
Document it, learn from it, understand it.
So yeah, that's correct. What are you going to understand?
This newfound, for example, scientists find new species every day. Well, not every day, but every couple months or weeks, and then we discover it, document it, and there's a connection.
Yeah.
God saying there is no limit. There is no limit. I think the Creator and God is always creating something new, so we don't grow stagnant and understand that we can constantly learn.
So let's change the language. Let's change the language. We studied the universe we don't study the universe in order to justify it with our belief with God. We study the universe in order to confirm that if it is correct, through the universe, the Creator is speaking to it. So I am really, whether I am conscious of it or not, I am really communicating with the Creator by or through studying the universe. So we have to be careful with our language, never brought our belief into the discussion. I find it difficult to express this. For example, I believe in God, all right. So when I study the universe, I learn something so that I will get to know my God better. The language is problematic. The people listen to us and they say, when you study the universe, you learn something. What is it to do with God? Then you brought God into equation. But as we study the universe, we understand that the universe is even more and more and more meaningful. So these meanings refer to something else.
And that's why the objects become a conscious being for you, because
In
you're
your eyes,
communicating.
yeah. You start communicating with the object. In reality, you start communicating through the object with the creator of the object. So you understand that it cannot be haphazardly happening. It is meaningful. Although it seems to be hair splitting. No, the language is so important. According to the language, our understanding of our understanding or benefiting from the Quran starts making sense according to the language we use. Otherwise, we start reading the Quran. Would you like to offer that? If you are not aware of this fine distinction, we cannot read the Quran in the right way. This is a fine distinction. We cannot read the Quran in the right way. If you are not careful, for example, if you are not careful about the difference between the language, now the brother exchanged, yeah, then you start reading the Quran, and when the Quran says, for example, refers to the anything to do with the earth or the creation, I don't see that this is what I have to communicate God through observing this universe. The Quran refers to the creation. And when it doesn't refer to the creation, I don't really see the connection. When it starts talking about a prophetic narration, for example, I don't see the connection. So what happened to the prophet, let's say, Abraham? And that's what the Quran says, what happened. We don't know what happened to the prophet Abraham, and the Quran gives us the information. We read it. Because we are not reading that this is an existential answer to my question by narrating the Abraham story. It becomes irrelevant, or it becomes an ethical thing. And Abraham was so strong, man. Okay, I have to be strong in my faith too. I don't see it as an answer to my existential question. I don't see it as an answer to my worldview. How should I establish my worldview? Rather than taking a lesson from a story. Inshallah, we can refer it or discuss this more and more when we come to the examples. It affects our relationship with the Quran. It affects our interpretation of the Quran if we don't pay attention to the difference between reading the Quran as an answer to my existential questions, or reading the Quran as a book which tells me about my religious obligations or responsibilities. Someone may be curious. So doesn't the Quran really tell us how we should live in this world? Yeah, it does, but how? By establishing the foundations. Practical side of it is practiced by or demonstrated by the Prophet. Or that is another subject now. Belief in the Quran is one subject, belief in the prophethood is another subject. We usually combine them. The reason is, again, the same thing. The reason why do we usually combine them? Again, the same thing. Because we read the Quran as a guide for our life, how to live in this world. Then it makes the prophet redundant, if you see it.
No, because he's an illustration of like
Yeah, just only the illustration. Huh? No,
a perfect
not,
example of how
yeah.
you can apply
Then
the Quran distinctions.
Then the danger is, I don't know, these are very important subjects, but not simple subjects. It may really shock. It should shock us. It shocks me anyway. Then when you read the hadith, you pay attention to only the outward form of the action. Because it's just illustration. No, if you say this is the practical side of the existential answers, then the prophetic example also needs to be understood as the existential base. Otherwise, it becomes only there is an if you like, a person here to be imitated.
And that's what people do.
Yeah. So when people start narrating hadith, for example, you have to do this. Why? There's a hadith, brother or sisters. There's a hadith that the Prophet did so. We have to do that. No reason. These are the problems. Why Islam or hadith or the prophetic examples most of the time doesn't make sense for us, because of these mistakes that in our attitude towards the Quran or the Prophet. Actually, fundamentally, because of the mistake in our attitude towards our own existence. Fundamentally. Because of the we don't see that religion starts, or the belief, or whatever you call it, spirituality, whatever you call it, concerns about the meaning of life, etc. All of them, we don't see this. It starts with questioning my own existence. But I believe in God. And I believe that Islam or Christianity, whatever, is a good religion. I follow it.
But I think for many people who converted or who chose Islam, who didn't grow up in Islam, it came as a result of existential questions that couldn't be answered by any other system, at least in my particular case. So that when I feel that I'm convinced about Islam is because I was trying to find any meaning for my existence in many other traditions that I could not find. So I think sometimes the belief in Islam is the direct result of these questions that we had. If you didn't grow up with Islam.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
But
and also because already I did all the things that Islam tells you not to do, and I know for a fact that actually they have a very bad consequence in your life. So I am convinced when Islam tells you something, it's for your own good, and because I did all the opposite things before.
Yeah, it is consistent with the purpose of your existence,
Yes.
what the Quran says. So, you understand this. The mistake or the danger comes afterwards. Some people, some people say, okay, I'm a Muslim now. I am a Muslim. Okay. Tell me what to do. Now, then people start giving you
No, I've
That's
instructions.
unusual, if we're ultimately sad.
Sorry,
And I don't think it's really different for converts either way. I think
Well,
it becomes
it's usually it's you come into something and the methodology that everyone applies is the same thing.
yeah. So
It's rare.
those people, you say, oh,
no,
they
I don't
say,
like this at all. I mean,
no,
this is very-
they ask you, how did you come to Islam?
Yeah.
It means, how did you come to our religion? Yeah. So you should say, okay, are you a Muslim? Of course I am a Muslim. Huh? How did you come to Islam? You should ask me.
Okay, how did you come to Islam?
Yeah. Problem is, I don't know. I am a Muslim. I was born into a Muslim family.
No, they say normally that they are blessed to be Muslim or something nice.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So
They got lucky.
I am lucky. You are. You became lucky later on. I was lucky from birth. This attitude, it affects our understanding, our approach to the Quran. The main problem is our approach to our own existence. The second stage is our approach to the Quran. The third stage is our approach to the Prophet. If we don't follow these three stages, rhetoric says, the Quran and Sunnah is enough for us, has no meaning. Would have no meaning. So Quran and Sunnah are enough for us. For who? For who? Who are you? Who are you? No, Quran and Sunnah are enough for us. We have only two guides, Quran and Sunnah. Now we have to understand that the first guidance for any human being is his own existence and the existence of the universe. Here I am. Now we are going to read the strange comparison here. I think who's going to read? Would you like to know?
Where are we starting? This word? From the beginning?
Now, of course, the question is wisdom. You know, what wisdom is. But according to the Quran, what wisdom is, but of course we will question whether it's right or wrong. Right?
This word consists of a brief comparison between the sacred wisdom of the all-wise Quran and the wisdom of philosophy and science, and a concise summary of the instruction and training which Quranic wisdom gives to man in his personal life and social life, and an indication of the Quran's superiority to other divine words and to all speech. There are 4 principles in this work. Continue.
Here, we can. Now, the problem is here, wisdom of philosophy and science, we should never understand or interpret the word science as scientific discoveries or activities that brother was referring to, studying the universe. Now, it means really studying the universe not for its meaning, but for itself. That is meant here. It means if someone studies the pieces of the universe, not in order to get meaning out of it, what the author means here, the science, philosophy and science, as compared to the Quran. From now, we understand that the author is going to emphasize on the difference between the meaning of the universe, the existing things, which Quran deals with, and the objects themselves, which science deals with. It's so simple.
No extra chairs anymore.
Okay. You can be bodyguards. Do we see the difference? It is not to be interpreted that we shouldn't study the universe. We will see that just the opposite. We should study the universe. But for what? Okay, first principle.
Look through the telescope of the following story, which is in the form of a comparison, and see the differences between Quranic wisdom and that of philosophy and science. One time, a renowned ruler, who was both religious and a fine craftsman, wanted to write the all-wise Quran in a script worthy of the sacredness in its meaning and the miraculousness in its words, so that its marvel-displaying stature would be arrayed in wondrous apparel. The artist king therefore wrote the Quran in a truly wonderful fashion. He used all his precious jewels in its writing, in order to indicate the great variety of its truths. He wrote some of its embodied letters in diamonds and emeralds, and some in rubies and agate?
Agate, yeah.
And other sorts in brilliance and coral, while others he inscribed with silver and gold. He adorned and decorated it in such a way that everyone, those who knew how to read and those who did not, were full of admiration and astonishment when they beheld it, especially in the view of the people of truth, since the outer beauty was an indication of the brilliant beauty and striking adornment in its meaning. It became a truly precious antique.
Now, what is he talking about? Who can guess? It's a comparison. Any? Sorry?
beauty of the universe?
So I didn't hear you.
The beauty of the universe? So you like the same analogy?
What are you going to do with the beauty? It's beautiful, okay.
But it's also speaking to you as to the actions of God. Or like hear the words of God.
Yes, but where did you get the idea of God here? He doesn't mention about God.
No, I'm just like, because he was talking about the Quran as the speech of God. So I just drew this analogy, but that's just my, my own.
But you are not wrong. I'm not saying you are wrong. But again, let's fine tune our language.
I don't know in sense of analogy, but he kind of engraved the words with the silver and gold. So, but that's what I understand. That the words, how to say, it's not about embedding them and putting all the precious agate and rubin in them. It doesn't make them that much. The meaning of words themselves made them sensible, but not valuable, but not the fact that he put it in a gold and everything.
Yeah. Thank you. What is the author really talking about? But there is a king. King wrote a book and decorated with precious stones, each word differently, and made the book in the form of an antique. Simple. What is he talking really?
That he took the meaning of
I don't know if I'm correct, but I think he was putting more emphasis on the physical aspect of the Quran as opposed to the content of the words and how you infer it from God. He put value on something that was priceless and he didn't create himself in this dunya or this place on earth.
Physical aspect of the Quran?
Yes. Or an embodiment of it. Basically, the words, the content was more important than the way it's delivered.
So why
by him putting jewels and making it like wonderful and beautiful, it was already beautiful before you even touched it.
Physical aspect of the Quran? So what is the point in writing for example, if I write a Quran, physical aspect means really mushaf, the papers and very, very precious material. I use very precious material and use different calligraphy and also embellish it with precious things. What do you think the Quran will gain? Which value the Quran will gain from it?
Overshine any,
Sorry?
it would overshine any gold or any silver. The words itself of Quran, when you read it with your heart, any silver or gold or whatever precious stone would be nothing towards the real meaning of the Quran.
So you wanted to say something, yes? Let's listen to you too.
So at first when I heard the words the artist king, I was thinking maybe that's like just referring to one of Allah's attributes, like Al-Musawwir, the artist. And then when he talks about gets the different jewels, then I mean, let's see, and how people admired it, then I was thinking maybe it's also one of people recognize the aesthetic beauty of the Quran, because it correlated with the poetry, the poetic style of the time, but it also went beyond what the great poets could create, and that's kind of.
So do you think, for example, is there anybody among us who really believe it in the Quran because of this poetic power? No, I didn't. For example.
I think that it was persuasion for people. Well, I think it touched people of that time because that was what they.
The poetic
Yeah.
side?
Yeah, like they
Yeah,
they
well-
really honored like the poets a lot in their
Okay,
society.
you know, you can say Muhammad was the greatest poet of his time.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
so
Listen,
it doesn't really,
maybe I think it's back to Yasmin's point, but I don't know. We haven't read the whole analogy, so maybe it's.
of course, just warming up to the subject, yeah.
But it seems that it's an analogy for just existence generally. So if you have the world and you have two ways to read it, even those who don't have any. Well, I guess you have to. The first step is that it's very interesting. You look around, and in this case, it's because there's jewels and there's pretty
No.
visually, and so it inspires us interest and some recognition of beauty in it.
When, okay,
Sorry, I'm taking too much, but we talk about belief and before and religion rituals. You said like if you don't
believe
put
in
religious rituals.
religious?
Rituals.
Rituals.
Rituals, yes.
Okay,
So
so,
we said like if we don't put the belief in the rituals,
yeah,
then that rituals doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So here they put here the words and embedding these words in silver. If we don't put like meaning to that words,
Yeah.
you know that they don't have meaning.
Yeah.
Even if they're written with the most precious gold in the world, you know, it doesn't make sense.
so every precious stone engraved in into the writings of this book that the king, or the wise king, wrote. All what you said, apart from the language, always putting God or putting religious belief in it, I'm allergic to it. It is because we are used to bringing our previous belief and installing it into any subject that we are dealing with, rather than coming to the conclusion and making this conclusion our belief. Methodologically, we are suffering from it a lot. The others are okay. Now, this is the language this kind of people use, the author. Now, in reality, the author is talking about the universe. Nothing to do with the Quran. Although it's just the Quran, as Eric said. No. Why he says that this wise king has written a Quran?
Okay.
So, because the author is hinting the reader, look, your understanding of the Quran must be alongside with this understanding, alongside with the universe. You cannot separate it.
Okay.
So it is nothing to the Mus'haf. It is about the creation. It is the universe. It is just a universe. So the scientists or philosophers read the universe.
That's the next part.
And this is his specialty, trying to make one's religion, one's belief, one's faith so real. Do not really separate, isolate your belief from your own existence. You cannot have two personalities. We can only one personality living in this world. But we are conscious beings. So by living or through living in this world, we question, what does it mean? In this sense, the universe speaks to me if I really approached rightly, exactly how the Quran speaks to me. And they work together, they work hand in hand. Don't separate it. That's why the author says, the wise king wrote a Quran. It means, oh reader, watch out, be careful. When you read the universe, you have to seek the meaning, the message it gives to you. And when you read the Quran, you have to seek the meaning it conveys to you. Don't imitate it. Don't take it for granted. This is water I drink, this is food I eat, this is air I breathe. Now there is a mountain there. These are very precious things. They carry meaning. Exactly, the universe, the things around us carry meaning. So combine them together. Don't separate them. You cannot isolate your religious life from your worldly life. You cannot isolate your spirit from your body. You cannot isolate your spirit from your senses. You cannot. You are all together. So my second question is, what is antique for you? What makes a thing antique? What do you understand from antique?
Valuable but old.
Yeah, why it has to be old? Valuable?
Because it's timeless.
Sorry?
It's timeless.
Antique. Is timeless?
No, because it stood the test
Like it
of
gives it
time.
worth. It gives it worth.
Sorry?
It gives it worth. Like it shows it's been here for a while.
It stands the
It's
test
almost
of
like,
time.
I'm so sorry, I apologize, sister.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's almost like elderly people. Elderly people gain wisdom in time. Younger people don't know as much as elderly people.
Do you think I am antique? I don't think nothing special. No. You know, when you go to the museum, you find a piece of, I don't know, glass or earthenware or anything human made. No, they preserve it. Why?
Because it can't be recreated in the same way.
Well, we make much better earthenware nowadays.
Okay, maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. It's like it can't be replaced because the artist who made it is dead. You know, the time in which it made has passed. It has a conversation with a lot of things to do with history. It's in conversation with the artist and the society and materials like that. It can't all be replicated.
No, the last part was excellent. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you.
I was gonna say pure or original in its nature. So for example, they talk about wood furniture from IKEA or wood and furniture that's original, that's antique, because it's more pure or original.
I think I should go with the sister's definition of antique. Anything which brings a lot of information that we don't know, that anthropological, sociological, for example, a piece of, let's say, tool, utensils, and people make sense of which kind of society they were living, which kind of civilization they had. So it is valuable, it is antique, it is valuable because it brings news about something that we don't know. So through which we learn. Yeah? So do you see that the universe is antique?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it brings a news about something that we don't know.
Right.
So we have to think about the, if you like, civilization, if you like, sociological background of this universe. Where is it coming from? What do they represent? Which message they are bringing to us? We want to learn. We want to know.
We had a question from someone watching online, but so are you saying that the Quran is just like a mountain in that you should not look at the beauty of the language, but the meaning, just like you should look at the meaning of a mountain, not its beauty? So there is some importance in the beauty of it, correct? And the language and the beauty of the mountain.
The beauty is in meaning. It brings it, because beauty for the sake of beauty means nothing.
But the beauty in the language or the beauty in the visual takes you to the meaning or makes you look for the meaning. Correct?
So it as much as it takes you into different meanings that you want to learn that you didn't know, that is the beauty. So the Quran itself says that it is not a poem. What does it mean? What does it mean? It is not a poem. You are not a poet, and what you deliver is not a poem, it means. What does it mean? The language may be beautiful or not, that's something else. Yeah, it is beautiful, it is impressive, it's really awesome, yeah. But what makes it impressive? The meaning it brings to us. The beauty is in the Quran in order to carry the deeper meaning to me, the fine meanings in it. So not just for the sake of beauty. Yeah. So I would read this piece. Those who knew how to read and those he didn't know. It means he didn't know how to read. Were full of admiration and astonishment when they beheld it. The universe, you don't have to be specialized. You can get the meaning. But at the level of capacity, how much you can get it. But you don't, in order to be excited about the meaning that we receive through the creation, you don't have to be an expert on it. But if you are an expert on it, it is better. But if you are not, it doesn't mean that the universe doesn't make any sense to you. Every person loves his parents, his children, and every person loves the beautiful creation out there and gets a relationship or connection with them. So depends. Yeah, some people study the fine things in the creation and they get excited. Some people just by looking at a piece of, I don't know, anything created, they get excited. But they may not be able to express it. They may not know the details of it, but still they admire. They admire at the creation.
How do you enhance your capacity?
Pardon?
How do you increase your capacity? You mentioned that, you understand it according to your capacity.
By specializing in the creation, I don't, but depends on for what purpose we are specializing in the creation. So whether we are getting the meaning out of it or just knowing the object itself, but at a different level, depending on which subject you, I don't know, biology, chemistry, or physics, whatever you study. Or I don't know, you can study astronomy, I don't know, any subject. So by paying attention to it, you get more and more excited because the deeper knowledge we have about the creation, the deeper knowledge we have about the Creator. Yeah, yeah. So your capacity. Actually, everybody's potentiality is almost endless. We cannot exhaust our potentiality. We cannot exhaust our potentiality. It's endless. But the more we use it, it becomes our capacity. So potentiality, almost everybody is given the same potentiality. I think so. I don't, when I said almost, I didn't really mean it. Just it came out of my. Everybody has the same potentiality. Every human being potentially or enabled to represent. I'm using a religious terminology here. Caliph. Represent God here. It means every individual is able to communicate with God in its fullest sense. I have been given all abilities, all potentialities, whatever is needed to get to know my Creator in its fullest sense. But how much of it we are using is the question. 0.0001 or 0.001.
I just got that word antique.
Yeah.
Don't you think it gives it finiteness? Like I don't know, I feel like it's something more like something to apply here on Earth. But to put antique on the universe, wouldn't it give it a limit when it isn't limited? Because, I mean, God is the only person that can create such a vast, immense thing. And to put antique on the universe, I feel like it's almost like limiting it, make it less than what it is.
Another problem in understanding the Quran is metaphors. Yeah, metaphors. Metaphors are used for one purpose only, not all. Now, for example, why the author used here antique as a metaphor? Of course. The difference between now my pencil and an fossil, which is 40 million years old. What is the difference between them? Fossil is antique compared to my pencil. Because the pencil and its environment, we know. We don't wonder. But when you find a fossil, so this poor animal or whatever, the fossil or whatever it is, didn't know that it will become a very precious thing one day, 40 million years later. It will be put in a museum, and the millions of people will come and take a picture of it, and then make a lot of speculations about its environment. So, antique is compared to what is known. Compare what is known with what is not known for you, but through something you discover. what you don't know. That's one thing. Then one is the metaphors are given for this, the difference. So the universe is an antic in the sense that you get a message through that object about what you don't know. That's it. You cannot say the metaphors are used to express every aspect of the object that we are talking. There's a typical example. If someone says, you are like a lion, good guy, strong, it doesn't mean that you have tail. You said you are like a lion. No, it is not related. Only the relationship between the lion and the human being is compared in a metaphoric way by using the metaphor, your courage. That's it. Period. Okay. You can read more. Would you like to, any questions, anything more?
I have a comment. I think it's hard to connect with the metaphor of an auntie, although it's important, because there are parts of the world that don't look old, right? There are parts of the world that say they seem modernized, or if you're in a natural setting, the vegetation is fresh and all of that. But when you go to a place with an old culture and you see ruins, you see old culture or signs of things decaying, then you, at least for me, like I think I would then be prone to think about, oh, how old is the world? You know, how old is civilization? Unless I'm a history buff and I'm reading up on different parts of the world actively, like it's easy to forget.
Can you narrow down the meaning of metaphor here? Brings news about something that you did not know. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Even today is an antique. Brings news about something that I don't know. So I can decipher, I can work on it, decipher the meaning and find out. But it is bringing news about its author. That's one side. Okay.
Then the ruler showed the artistically wrought and bejeweled Quran to a European philosopher and to a Muslim scholar. In order to test them for reward, he commanded them, each of you write a work about the wisdom and purposes of this. First, the philosopher, then the scholar, composed a book about it. However, the philosopher's book discussed only the decorations of the letters and the relationships and conditions and the properties of the jewels. It described them. It did not touch on their meaning at all, for the European had no knowledge of the Arabic script. He did not even know that the embellished Quran was a book, a written piece expressing a meaning. He rather looked on it as an ornamented antique. He did not know any Arabic, but he was very good. He was a very good engineer, and he described things very aptly. And he was a skillful chemist, and an ingenious jeweler. So this man wrote his work according to those crafts.
Yeah. So those people who know Arabic among us will say, oh, we know Arabic. So we are not that man.
As continue.
Sorry?
Should I continue?
No. Some comments. European, not geographical sense at all. It means, if you like, secular approach. Not every European, or Westerners. We live in the West and we are not Europeans. Secularist, as opposed to, example, as opposed to a person who tries to see the meaning in the existence of everything. But those approach, which is described here, philosopher, who did not know Arabic. What does it mean? Not the Arabic language. It's not the Arabic language. He didn't know that it is a book. Do you understand? It means it carries meaning. So again, it is interesting when the Quran describes that this is an Arabic book, ne? Quran and Arabian, the language, make it very clear. What does it mean? Then you cannot read the Quran if you don't know Arabic. So, okay, practically speaking,
It's in a
you
human
can.
language.
Sorry,
It's in a human language. That one can understand.
it's a human language, and you understand. It is understandable for you. Not necessarily not Latin but Arabic, or not Roman but or Greek or Arabic, well, French or Arabic. But when it becomes practical side of it, of course, you understand that Arabic grammar. But the emphasis is, it is a human language that you understand. It is with your language, your human language. Not necessarily if you are an English speaker, no, it's nothing to do with you. No, it is understandable, and it has meaning, and you can access this meaning. Now, it is interesting, the philosopher's book discussed only the decorations of the letters and their relationship and conditions and the properties of the jewels. And this man described all this. Do we notice that? Those people who study the universe, what about the speciality they have? They concentrate on physical side. They never say what it means. Okay.
I don't know, they've crossed over into,
Hmm.
I mean, I know that technically science is not, or secular science is not supposed to conclude anything.
Yeah. Why?
But
Why
getting into it.
not supposed to conclude about anything? Who said this?
Just based on what my wife says, because she studied science, it's not really in the realm of, like, it's not the purpose of it to answer this question.
You know why? Why? Because they cannot. They don't want. If you like exactly like those people who are religious people, they say, we believe in God, we are satisfied with our religion. Yes, we do whatever Allah tells us, we just do it. But why do we do it? We believe, we submit. Because they cannot. Do you understand? Because they cannot, because they have not prepared. They have no intention to really make sense of their beliefs. Just imitate. Exactly the same thing. Those people who don't want to, that's their choice, who don't want to see the meaning in the creation, they say, that's my subject, not to go into the meaning. The author is hinting that they are doing something ridiculous. They are studying the book, and they are saying that it is not a book. I found something here, and I have to study the elements in it. If you study a book, not as a book, but as a precious metal, what are you doing? So they say, no, the meaning is not within my interest area. Why not? Who said that it shouldn't be within your interest area? You are a human being, you ask question, and this question goes into the meaning. Why do you block that road? Who said? This is the definition. Who defined it? You define it. For example, you say, I'm not going to believe in any religion. Okay, I'm not interested in religion, but I'm going to study, let's say, chemistry. If someone says, oh, no, these are very important, interesting things are going on. No. It's not my specialty. What does it mean? It is inhuman. Human beings are interested in the matter itself and the message it carries. You cannot really separate it. Neither in both ways we cannot separate it. It's always easy for those people who believe. It's easy. Look, I believe in God. The word is not important for me. The word is transient, and what we have to get ready for the eternal world. We have to try to make God pleased with us. Again, separation. If you say this, if you take this attitude, other side of the argument also it legitimizes itself, saying that I am not interested in religion. I am just a physicist, or I am a chemist studying the chemical structure of this matter. I have nothing to do with its meaning. I am not going to ask how come that it happens. I have to find out how it is happening and never ask how it happened, really. The same thing. My problem is, okay, those people who block their way, which goes into the meaning of the book of the universe, and don't want to read the meaning, don't want to get involved into the meaning because they know that. Everybody knows that. If they question the meaning of the book of the universe, they will find out that this is a wonderful creator's work. And I am created by him. I am not alone. I have to acknowledge him. I cannot ignore him. That is easy to put a label on them. That is correct. The most difficult thing is, I believe in God. I have nothing to do with the universe. That is the problem for us. I wonder personally, if you don't have anything to do with the universe, how come that you believe in God? How come that you make your actions meaningful for you? Now that is more subtle. And this wrong attitude justifies the attitude of the people who don't want to read the meaning of the universe. So they say, let's separate. Okay? Well, it starts with, of course, practically speaking, the separation between state and religion, and then goes into between sacred books, the religious traditions, and scientific studies. It goes very well. That's what the Quran says. I don't know, I'm studying the universe. And the other one says, when you study the universe, I don't know what you say, but I take my Quran. But this author combines together, you cannot separate them. Either you read the Quran or the universe, they are the same thing. They are the work of the same source. One of them is speaking through you, speaking to you through action. The other one is speaking to you through word. You cannot separate it. You cannot understand the word if you don't see the action. if you don't understand the action, if you don't listen to the word. You have to combine them. So if the believers combine their religious belief, understanding with the universe, then those people who say that we are studying the universe, we are not trying to interpret the meaning of it, they will say, this is meaningless. Those people who say that they believe, they believe because of the result of their studying the universe. Follow me? Is it clear?
Maybe I missed it. So I'm clear on what you, how you're saying the people who specialize, when they come to belief, then where it comes from is because they've studied the universe. But how do you think people who believe but don't study the universe come to believe? Or are you saying that it's kind of their belief is missing something?
From the beginning, as an introduction to the subject, we said Quran is the answer to existential questions. So if someone does not really ask the existential questions, the Quran doesn't speak to him. But he or she may say, no, I read the Quran and I found something interesting. By definition, if the things that he found in the Quran, which is interesting, is not because of the existential foundations, it is not interesting, as if interesting according to the Quran. It is interesting, for example, if you read a book written by a sage. Quran's being an interesting book comes from or derives from giving the news or the answer to your practical existential questions. If you don't have the practical existential questions, Quran doesn't speak to you. But when you read the Quran, you benefit from it. Okay, you benefit from any ethical books. It wouldn't be different. Would not be different. Mostly we read the Quran as an ethical book written by a greatest poem, Muhammad. That's you see in lots of commentaries on the Quran. This attitude is the problem. So if we should stop criticizing as it is described here, scientists and philosophers not listening to the religious sources. We should stop. What we should do instead, don't criticize them. Criticize yourself. Why or how? Come on, say something. Criticize myself. If I don't establish my belief on the universe, if I don't establish my belief on the universe, look, not on the Quran, on the universe, and those people who don't establish their understanding on the religious sources will be justified. Because you leave or you left the universe out of religion, religious sphere, what happened? Some people say, okay, this is my area. Because you left the universe as not sacred, but secular. Okay? And the other person can easily get it as a source of secular knowledge. That is the problem with us. do you get it? I think these are important.
Can you
Yeah.
clarify?
Just, yeah. Let's clarify you. Yeah.
I just want to comment, like,
Yeah.
as I understand, and to see whether as I understand that you put the equality among those people who study universe
Mhm.
without meaning, and those who go to religion again without giving it to the meaning, without having the meaning to it.
Yeah.
They're
Really.
equal. So you should not separate your studying of the universe from putting the meaning in it.
Yeah. If those people study the Quran by establishing the values of the Quran on matters, physical existence, it means applying it to the universe and getting the confirmation from the universe, then the other people wouldn't say that, oh, okay, this is a subject, this is a field that we can work on, because you got it. But not to compete with them, we should do it. In reality, we should do it. So that they wouldn't feel that what they are doing is correct. Those people, there are different kinds of people. Some people go to the church, some people go to the lab, right? How about changing the equation? I go to the lab and I practice my belief. What will happen?
You won't have a job.
You will have a job. That's very realistic. You go to the lab and you say, this is my place where I practice. So I wanted to change the subject today. We had been reading the 17th word. So the author was really trying to understand what the stars are saying to us. He used one thing, page 238. Now, he used one line here. The stars are speaking now in his description, or the line 4 or something. For the inhabitants of the heavens, the stars, inhabitants of the heavens, stars. They are saying, they are speaking now. We are, each of us, a traveling mosque. Right? A traveling mosque. Star. What happened? You destroyed all definitions, made up stories to me. Religion is not in the mosque, and star is the mosque. What is left? Do you understand? Why do we, sorry, religion is not only in the mosque, but star itself is the mosque. Must be the mosque for me. The star. Why? What is the mosque? Mosque is really masjid. Yeah. When you prostrate. When you study the star, the more you study, the more you prostrate. That is your religious field. Yeah? Because you get admired, you read the meaning, and the meaning takes you into the absolute creator, and you connect yourself with the absolute creator. Now, what's happening now? You are not really leaving a space under the title of religion, to other people who can justify their misuse of themselves by saying that, look, we don't go to the mosque, all right. Let some people go to the mosque, but when they go to the mosque, they do nothing. Yeah. But when I go to the lab, I discover things, and they come and use our discoveries and then blame us. On top of it, they say these scientists are unbelievers. They will go to hell. But while they are saying all this, they use my telephone. Yeah. What's going on? Why they seem to be right? Yes, they are not absolutely right. They seem to be right because of the attitude of the people who say we believe. So actually, it is not absolutely their mistake. It is the mistake of the people who represent religion. Or the religion is presented to them, to the people in general. But still people have their free will. Still people, they will choose to believe or not to believe, to pay attention to the meaning of the creation or not to pay attention to the meaning of the creation. Yeah, that is their choice. But we shouldn't give them the opportunity to legitimize their attitude. They will be left free to say that, okay, although I am going to use the star or the atom, one atom, as my masjid, but you may not use the atom or the star as your masjid. That is your choice, but you cannot say that I am studying something which has nothing to do with transcendental things, metaphysical things. What's metaphysical? I never understood these metaphysical things. Never. But really, there are some very hardcore languages used in nowadays language, like metaphysics, like nature. I never understand them. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. There is nothing. For example, I am, as the author is now doing here, I am studying this thing. I'm not going to call it book. The thing, and I am going to pay attention to the shape of the things, shape. And if someone says, "What are you doing? This is a book. This is meaningful. Look at the meaning." No. I'm not interested in metaphysics. It means from the very beginning, you are taking a reductionist attitude, then denying that this is a book. From the very beginning, with no reason, because I read it, I didn't see any meaning, it cannot be a book. I understand. Did you look for the meaning? Look, be careful. Did you look for the meaning and didn't you find any meaning in it? Then you are right to call it not a book. But from the very beginning, I'm not going to get into the meaning and say, I'm going to study this thing. Yeah? I'm going to study the thing. What are you doing? Either you deny that or you reject that or give a legitimate reason for me that it has no meaning, then I understand that I couldn't get any meaning. I asked if it has a meaning. So the book means a physical being with its own meaning. There is no separate thing, physics and metaphysics. Because in the universe, there is nothing which doesn't have a meaning. Anything exists, has wonderful characteristics and properties, and they all refer to something else. They all refer to the wise, intelligent creator. Give them these purposeful qualities. Look, this definition, it is very common though. Not only the one person said this. Billions of people are saying science is not interested in metaphysics or theology. Theology is different. Now, we have to make sure that theology is not different. There were some questions or so people wanted to say, yeah.
You said in your Wednesday class that we're worthy of the universe. Man is worthy of the universe. So I wanted to ask if you could elaborate on that. And the second thing is a question I asked before about how there's mercy in hell. The existence of hell is.
Yeah, the second question is a little bit referred to the
previous
Wednesday's class, actually. The first question.
We're worthy of the universe.
Body, did you say?
We're worthy. You
We
said
are
we're
worthy of the
worthy
universe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's lots of recollections going on in your mind. Universe, let's make the equation like this. Universe has meaning, and this meaning it brings to me from its maker, and its maker is wonderful in every sense. Everything is really miraculous, and human beings are equipped with the quality to understand all of them. So without, I think we talked about it on Wednesday as you referred, without the reader, the writing a book means what? I'm writing a book, no one will ever read it. No one will ever understand it. What does it mean?
It's a waste of time.
Sorry?
It's a waste of time to
Yeah.
write the book.
It means the author of the book is stupid. Yeah. No one is going to read it. No one is going to, maybe you write something for yourself, okay, and you don't really distribute to the market so that the people will buy. No one will buy, no one will read, sure, absolutely. Book must be meaningful and also must convey the message to those who are going to receive it. If there is no reader, book is not a book. The typical example, we discussed that. If there is no person who hears, who has the ability to hear, the noise or voice is not the voice. It is what makes this as a book my reading.
But why did he make the reader and the book?
Sorry, why did he?
Why? I know this is part of the vibe, but I'd like to
Yeah.
have some
No,
thoughts on this.
this is a question.
Can I add something? One hadith actually is strong. Right?
Well, we don't speak hadith here.
No hadith is that.
No, hadith or ayah. No. What, you are the first time coming?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we respect hadith and ayah, but we don't start with them. We conclude with them. So principle, you got used to it. Okay? So we have to come to that conclusion to confirm what hadith says. So why you are responsible, I am responsible. These are very practical questions. Everybody is responsible for his own existence, right? So I am here. I ask the question. I find myself asking the question. I wonder. And I can decipher the meaning. And I can relate it. And I have been given, whatever the reason, I have been given the ability to wonder about it, to explore it, and relate it to myself so that I will make my existence meaningful for me. That's what I find myself here. So religion is not why did he make? I don't know. None of my business. We always say that, and we will say again and again. We cannot read the mind of the Creator. It is none of my business. In reality, asking why questions have nothing to do with religion. Asking why questions has nothing to do with religion. Ask how. How come that I am wondering about my own existence? How come that I have been given all these qualities? That I have been. And also I want to make meaningful. I want to make my own life meaningful. Right? For myself. In order not to contradict myself. Do you follow me? So, what you find yourself here as asking questions and looking for meaning for your life, for your being, and for the meaning of the being out there, right? If you find the consistency, you find your life meaningful. You don't say that, look, I am here, just happened to be, and I'm going to die, and I don't know why, and that is it. And that's how it looks like, how it looks. You understand that you are the product of the absolute being who gave existence to the universe, and every particle of the universe witnesses this. You feel secure in your existence. You understand that why you exist, your life and your existence becomes meaningful, and you feel security within your own self, which is the sign that this is correct for you. Whoever made you with this quality, and you are using this quality and not contradicting your reality. So, why did he make you? That's your response. I don't know why he made it. I don't know. I cannot know. No one can know. No one can know. In this world. We are in this world. Yeah? So, sorry, brother. Because we don't use religious sources to reply the questions or to answer the questions, but usually we are used to this type of conversation. That type of conversation brings the religious belief, previous religious belief, into discussion with imitation. So we say, no, we don't imitate. We have to confirm it. Now, just I would like to hear what you wanted to say. Now, just if it is related or not, we will see.
This is the Hadith Ibn Arabi, he constantly uses it.
Narration is not important. Tell me the Hadith.
Like, I created the universe that I would like to be known. You know, that's the.
No, listen. Okay, that's good. That must be our conclusion. This universe and I am here, given existence, so that I get to know him, get to know the Creator, and I know him. Consistent, right? Consistent. I confirm it. This brother narrated this. It means, as he said, it's written in certain books, right? When you read this, what you say? Correct. Yeah, I am here to know the Creator, to know my Creator, and I'm knowing it. Yeah, I'm fulfilling the purpose of my existence.
Also in Quran several times he mentioned he created us for the indifference, to find the indifference. I don't know what I'm saying if you are.
No. Oh, my understanding of language, English is very limited. Oh, I'm not saying, but I don't understand.
What I'm trying to say in Quran, in several verses, he mentioned Allah Azza wa Jal, and He created us to find the indifference, so that people like will ask this question, like what she asked, to find your way. You know what I mean? The indifference. Still the khaliqa, the creation itself.
Yeah, still couldn't get it. Maybe if you say it in Arabic, maybe I can understand.
لقد خلقكم للاختلاف, for the whole idea of this thing, to find your path, you know what I mean? To find people will find their path and people will not find their path.
Now everybody has different way to get in touch with his Creator. All right, right. So we cannot specialize in thousands of different disciplines, right? That's correct. But whatever we study the sentence of the same book, and the same book refers to the quality of the same author.
This is the power of Quran. You gather, it's like an umbrella that gathers all the images. It's the same book.
Yeah. So let's did you say this is the power of the Quran?
I mean,
Did you say that? Or did I misunderstand you? This is the power of the Quran?
that he's gathering.
No, I'm just asking you the language only, but because of nothing is wrong with you, with me. Did you say that this is the power of the Quran? Did you say? Now, I will take it because I'm looking for an excuse to establish this principle that we need to really desperately become aware of it. This is the power of the creation, the universe. Of course, the Quran is the speech of the creator of this universe. No difference. Did you get the connection?
And also, and something previously said about Quran and Arabian. He said it is an Arabic Quran. He mentioned that. I think this is another power of the creator, or the power of the Quran, that in spite of Quran and Arabian, he wants to mention it's Arabian, but still for everybody, you know.
So that's what the brother said there. Quran and Arabian means human language that you understand, humanly possible to understand. Yeah, please go ahead. But it's going to be left here.
I'm asking if she.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm good, thank you.
So somebody, can you please? Okay, we have. Yeah. No, because the guy is standing there, it's spending energy. So. I think anybody? I think the time is up, but I didn't notice. Sorry.
Well, you kind of changed around her statement and said, you know, that's the power. It's the power of creation, not the power of the Quran. What I'm getting is kind of like the point that you're making is that the Quran is just talking about the creation and about the creator, but the Quran is not in and of itself.
No, I think that from the very beginning, now the sister said both. Behind you said both. It means this language is wrong. This is the power of the creation, not the power of the Quran. No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Not only the Quran. Why do we reduce this value to the Quran? Quran speaks as the one who created the universe. So this is the power of the universe and the power of the one who speaks in the Quran is the creator of the universe. Combine them. So whatever you study in the universe, it takes you to its creator. Now, whatever you study in the Quran, it takes you to its creator. Quran must be read in this way. If it is not taking you to its creator, to your creator, something is wrong with your reading of the Quran. Equally true, if you study one part of the universe and you don't go to the creator, something is wrong with your attitude. Because by definition, look at it, you will see it. You will see it. The universe says, my creator, whatever you study, whatever discipline subject you study, my creator is absolute. And this is your absolute creator.
Right.
So simple.
Sorry, my second question.
No, this is, we don't have time, and this is not related to, no, I'm not escaping from it. I'm proud of it. So challenging questions, I love it. Challenging question. If I didn't know the answer, that's my day. I struggled for it months and months of it. So, inshallah, we can talk. Not today. First, the time is up. I'm very late. The second is not tied to the subject directly, but it is related. It is a legitimate question. Inshallah, we have to stop here. Do you? Yeah.
The first word after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, if you can translate the ayah. The first.
Yeah, I'm available.
من يؤتي الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا. It explains everything you said.
That's how this verse.
I love it.
This is the interpretation.
Exactly.
This is the commentary on this verse. What we are reading.
This is the whole thing.
Yeah, hikmah, wisdom.
What's the hikmah?
Yeah. So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. So, I think that's